Welcome to another Nord School tutorial. Today I'll show you how to debug your code in your Nuxt project. Debugging Nuxt code can be a little bit challenging since some of the code is server-side rendered, but using tools such as the editor, VS Code, and the Chrome Debugger extension, debugging can be quite straightforward. Okay, let's start. Here I have a vanilla Nuxt project using TypeScript. And as you can see here, this is the landing page. So it's a very bare bone minimal Nuxt project. To enable debugging, first you need to configure the VS Code debugger with launch settings. And then you need to include source map files in the build. And then finally, you will have to add the Chrome Debugger VS Code extension. All right, so let's configure the VS Code debugger. We will need to add the launch settings. It's inside the directory .vscode. If you don't have that automatically, you can create it in the root of your project. And if we look at this, I have here a snippet. I'm going to be sharing these snippets in the link below, so make sure you check that out. Here we have two configurations, one for the client code and the other one is for the server-side rendered code. As I mentioned, in the universal mode of Nuxt, you have some of the code running in the server and then the rest is running in the client. So to be able to handle this, we need to add two configurations here. And then we have this command, the compound command, that basically runs both in parallel and then allow you to toggle between them. We call that full stack Nuxt, and then that allow you to either choose server Nuxt or client Chrome. And one thing to notice here is the URL, the localhost. This is 3000. This is the default Nuxt port. But in case you have a custom port, then make sure you update that. All right. So as I mentioned, the next step is to include the source map files. And how we do that is we go to the configuration files of Nuxt over here. And you might have this different depending on how old is your project and how many third-party libraries and so on, what you have there. What we'll need is that we'll need to extend the configurations. I have here the snippet. Basically, I'll uncomment that. And what this does is that it checks if we have the development mode on. Then for the dev tools, we include the source map. Otherwise, we will have then inline source map. Okay, let's save this. And now the final step to get this up and running is to add the extension, the Chrome Debugger extension. And how this would work is that you would go to the marketplace over here and you would write Chrome Debugger. It should pop right up here, the first one. You can't miss it. It has the most downloads and it's maintained by Microsoft. I have it already installed. If you don't, then just install it, restart your editor, and you should be good to go. Okay, so let's test this. I have here now my local server, the dev environment. It's running in the background, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to start the debugger. I prefer to have the full stack configurations because then I don't have to restart anything when I would like to debug a different kind of. Here you have two options, either the client code or the server running code. And you need to remember to update this depending on the code you're debugging. Now I will show you a quick demo how this works. For example, if I add a mounted function here, and in this lifecycle, I will add like a simple console log that says that debugger is working. And now I'm going to add a breakpoint here and start my debugger. And yeah, voila. Now you're able to debug your code. All right, I hope you found this helpful, and until next time.